Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy said Wednesday that his country's victory plan relies largely on support from Ukraine's allies, calling on restrictions on long-range missiles to be lifted. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken signaled that the request is on the discussion table. Seung-jae reports.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy held talks with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy in Kyiv on Wednesday. As Ukraine looks to change the tide of the war further, Zelenskyy has called for additional support from his allies, including a lifting of restrictions on the use of long-range missiles. In response, Blinken said he'll discuss the matter with U.S. President Joe Biden.
I'm going to take that discussion back to Washington to brief the president on what I heard. I know that David's doing the same. And both of our bosses, no doubt, will discuss this when they meet later this week, actually. From day one, as you've heard me say, we have adjusted and adapted as needs have changed, as the battlefield has changed. And I have no doubt that we'll continue to do that as this evolves.
Ukraine has been pushing for the lifting of missile restrictions so that it can target deeper inside Russia. The U.S. has also pledged an additional $700 million in aid for Ukraine, while the UK has pledged $782 million. According to the Ukrainian leader, Kyiv's victory over Moscow depends on the support of its allies, including Washington. He also said that he plans to share Ukraine's so-called victory plan with President Biden, adding that it's important for Ukraine to announce the plan to its allies before the second Ukrainian Peace Conference, which is scheduled to be held in November. Meanwhile, the EU's Energy Commissioner, Kadri Simpson, said the bloc will continue to phase out of its reliance on Russian gas, amid reports that show Europe still relies on Russia for almost a fifth of its gas imports. Speaking to reporters in Brussels, Simpson said that the EU remains fully committed to completing the phase-out of Russian gas, which can be done without challenging Europe's energy security of supply. When asked if the EU's Energy Commission was planning to impose sanctions on Russian natural gas imports, the commissioner said that Moscow has already lost any leverage it had over the bloc. Seung-jae, Arirang News.